Let's talk about the best Dividend Kings right now. And before we do, I should define what constitutes as the best Dividend King, because it can mean a lot of things. I could be talking about the Dividend Kings with the highest yields, the ones that are potentially the most undervalued, or a combination of both. To me, only one metric matters when deciding whether or not I should invest in any company. That metric is the future return potential, because when I buy shares of a stock, I want my capital to generate an adequate return for me. An adequate return is subjective to each person. Some of you may be happy with a 7% return, while others want to see a double-digit return. For me, the minimum threshold is 10%. I want to find companies that may potentially deliver returns of at least 10% per year over the next 3 to 5 years. And of course, estimating future returns is no easy feat, because nobody really knows what will happen tomorrow. So here's how I do it. In my opinion, a return can only come from the following places. A dividend yield a stock pays. If the stock's valuation improves. In other words, if it trades for a higher multiple in the future relative to where it's trading today. And of course, fundamental earnings growth. If a company is trading for an X multiple of its earnings today, and it increases its earnings rate, all things equal, its value should increase as well. So that is how I estimate future return potential, by adding the forward dividend yield, the return to fair value factor based on dividend yield theory, and the projected earnings growth rate. As of today, 27 Dividend Kings have a return potential of at least 10%, but only 20 of these kings appear to be undervalued based on dividend yield theory. Let's take a look at each of them, and you can decide which ones are worthy to review further. First up is Colgate-Palmolive, ticker symbol CL, from the consumer defensive sector. Colgate pays a forward dividend yield of 2.61%. It has a return to fair value factor of 2.15% and projected earnings growth of 5.45%, giving it a return potential of 10.21% per year. The stock is currently about 11% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, trading for about $79 with a fair price of $89. Next up on our list is Cisco, ticker symbol SYY, also from the consumer defensive sector. Cisco pays a forward dividend yield of 2.64%. It has a return to fair value factor of 0.41% and projected earnings growth of 7.17%, giving it a return potential of 10.22% per year. Based on dividend yield theory, the stock appears to be about 2% undervalued, with a current price right around $82 and a fair price of $83. The next dividend king on our list is S&P Global, ticker symbol SPGI, from the financial sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 0.79%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 1.31% and projected earnings growth of 11.1%, earning it a potential return of 10.58% per year. S&P Global appears to be about 6% overvalued, currently trading for about $487 with an implied fair price of $456. The next king on our list is Dover Corporation, ticker symbol DOV, from the industrial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.24%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 1.39% and projected earnings growth of 10.95%, earning it a potential return of 10.79% per year. Based on dividend yield theory, Dover is about 7% overvalued, with a current price of $168 and a fair price of $156. The next king on our list is RPM International, ticker symbol RPM, from the materials sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.74%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 0.19% and projected earnings growth of 9.28%, giving it a return potential of 10.83%. RPM International appears to be about 1% overvalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $117 and a fair price just below $116. The next dividend king on our list is Tennant Company, ticker symbol TNC, also from the industrial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.46%. It has a return to fair value factor of 1.45% and projected earnings growth of 8%, giving us a return potential of 10.91%. Tennant Company appears to be about 7% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $80 and a fair price of $87. The next dividend king on our list is Commerce Bancshares, ticker symbol CBSH, from the financial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.84%. It has a return to fair value factor of 0.61% and projected earnings growth of 8.86%, giving us a return potential of 11.31%. Commerce Bank shares appears to be about 3% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of about $60 and a fair price of about $62. The next dividend king on our list is Target Corporation, ticker symbol TGT, from the consumer defensive sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 5.19%. It has a return to fair value factor of 8.19% and projected earnings growth of minus 1.89%, giving us a return potential of 11.49%. Based on dividend yield theory, Target appears to be about 48% undervalued, with a current price of about $88 and a fair price of $169. The next dividend king on our list is H2O America, ticker symbol HTO, from the utilities sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 3.47%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.39% and a projected earnings growth of 2.54%, giving us a return potential of 11.4%. Based on dividend yield theory, H2O America appears to be about 30% undervalued, with a current price of about $48 and an implied fair price of about $69. The next dividend king on our list is Black Hills Corporation, ticker symbol BKH, from the utilities sector. The stock has a forward dividend yield of 4.44%, a return to fair value factor of 1.84%, and projected earnings growth of 5.54%, giving us a return potential of 11.82%. Black Hills Corporation appears to be about 9% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of about $61 and a fair price of about $67. The next dividend king on our list is Pepsi, ticker symbol PEP, from the consumer defensive sector. Pepsi has a forward dividend yield of 4.05%, a return to fair value factor of 4.79%, and projected earnings growth of 3.29%, giving us a return potential of 12.13%. Based on dividend yield theory, Pepsi appears to be about 26% undervalued, with a current price of $140 and an implied fair price of about $190. The next dividend king on our list is Abbott Labs, ticker symbol ABT, from the healthcare sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 1.77%. It has a return to fair value factor of 0.08% and projected earnings growth of 10.3%, giving us a return potential of 12.15%. Based on dividend yield theory, Abbott Labs appears marginally undervalued, with a current price of $133 and a fair price of $134. The next dividend king on our list is Automatic Data Processing, ticker symbol ADP, from the industrial sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 2.11%. It has a return to fair value factor of 0.79% and projected earnings growth of 9.46%, giving us a return potential of 12.36%. Based on dividend yield theory, ADP appears to be about 4% undervalued, with a current price of $291 and a fair price of $303. The next dividend king is Nordson Corporation, ticker symbol NDSN, from the industrial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.44%. It has a return to fair value factor of 4.71% and projected earnings growth of 7.05%, giving us a potential return of 13.2%. Nordson appears to be about 25% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $227 and a fair price of $306. The next king on our list is AbbVie, ticker symbol ABBV, from the healthcare sector. The stock pays a forward dividend yield of 2.97%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 5.88% and projected earnings growth of 16.14%, giving us a return potential of 13.24%. Based on dividend yield theory, AbbVie appears to be about 33% overvalued, with a current price of $220 and a fair price of $165. The next king on our list is American States Water Company, ticker symbol AWR, from the utilities sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.79%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.03% and projected earnings growth of 5.67%, giving us a potential return of 13.49%. American States Water appears to be about 27% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $72 and an implied fair price of about $100. The next king on our list is Becton Dickinson & Company, ticker symbol BDX, from the healthcare sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.25%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.54% and projected earnings growth of 6.39%, giving us a potential return of 14.19%. Becton Dickinson appears to be about 31% undervalued, with a current price of $184 and an implied fair price of $267. The next king on our list is PPG Industries, ticker symbol PPG, from the materials sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.74%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.49% and projected earnings growth of 6.01%, giving us a potential return of 14.24%. PPG Industries appears to be about 30% undervalued, with a current price of $103 and an implied fair price of $149. The next king on our list is Nucor Corporation, ticker symbol NUE, from the materials sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.59%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 0.61% and projected earnings growth of 13.36%, earning a potential return of 14.34%. Based on dividend yield theory, Nucor Corporation appears to be about 3% overvalued, with a current price of $138 and a fair price of $134. The next king on our list is Hormel Foods, ticker symbol HRL, from the consumer defensive sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 4.69%. It has a return to fair value factor of 6.94% and projected earnings growth of 2.79%, earning a potential return of 14.42%. Based on dividend yield theory, Hormel Foods appears to be about 40% undervalued, with a current price just under $25 and a fair price of $41. The next dividend king on our list is ABM Industries, ticker symbol ABM, from the industrial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.32%. It has a return to fair value factor of 3.5% and projected earnings growth of 8.8%, earning a potential return of 14.61%. Dividend yield theory suggests the stock is about 18% undervalued, with a current price just under $46 and a fair price of $56. The next dividend king on our list is Stepan Company, ticker symbol SCL, from the materials sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 3.26%. It has a return to fair value factor of 8.47% and projected earnings growth of 3%, giving it a potential return of 14.73%. Dividend yield theory suggests Stepan Company is about 50% undervalued, with a current price of $47 and a fair price of $94. The next dividend king on our list is Middlesex Water Company, ticker symbol MSEX, from the utilities sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.54%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.62% and projected earnings growth of 8%, giving it a return potential of 16.17%. Middlesex Water Company appears to be about 31% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of about $53 and a fair price of $78. The next dividend king on our list is Northwest Natural Holding Company, ticker symbol NWN, from the utilities sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 4.39%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 0.01% and projected earnings growth of 11.85%, giving it a return potential of 16.23%. Northwest Natural Holdings Company appears to be about fairly valued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $44.65 and a fair price of $44.62. The next dividend king on our list is H.B. Fuller Company, ticker symbol FUL, from the materials sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 1.62%. It has a return to fair value factor of 4.86% and projected earnings growth of 10.69%, giving it a return potential of 17.17%. H.B. Fuller appears to be about 26% undervalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price of $58 and a fair price of $79. The next dividend king on our list is National Fuel and Gas Company, ticker symbol NFG, from the energy sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 2.28%. It has a return to fair value factor of minus 7.83% and projected earnings growth of 23.07%, giving it a potential return of 17.52%. National Fuel and Gas Company appears to be about 45% overvalued based on dividend yield theory, with a current price just shy of $94 and a fair price of $64. And the final dividend king on our list is Stanley Black & Decker, ticker symbol SWK, from the industrial sector. It pays a forward dividend yield of 4.5%. It has a return to fair value factor of 5.5% and projected earnings growth of 16.5%, giving it a return potential of 26.49%. Dividend yield theory suggests that Stanley Black & Decker is about 30% undervalued, with a current price just shy of $74 and a fair price of $106. If anyone would like to grab a copy of this custom Dividend King spreadsheet, I do share it with my Patreon community. And if you're looking for more content from me, you can sign up for my newsletter, Quality at a Fair Price. Links to both can be found in the description below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.